Hi guys, welcome back to Chop's Garage. Today we're driving in the Volvo V70 from Salvage Market. Those of you who haven't seen this car before, we got it from Salvage Market a little while ago as a Category N non-structural insurance claim. So the insurance company decided not to do it on an economical basis because it was only Cat N. Front wing was damaged, corner of the bumper. So we put a wing on it, a Volvo wing on it, had it painted, repaired the bumper, had that bit painted, had it all blended in, and now it's ready for retail. But what we hadn't done is done a test drive in it. I'd driven it a short distance to make sure things sounded okay, but we hadn't done a proper test drive in it, so I drove it home last night. I'm driving it back in today, which is useful because it turned out I had some stuff from home to bring in, so that great big boot has been incredibly useful. So what do we think of it so far? I mean, luckily it came with 3/4 of a tank of fuel as well. So with the current shortage of diesel, I was laughing. So yeah, what do we think of it so far? Well, apart from the screen neatly clean, it drives lovely, guys. Absolutely lovely. It's exactly what you'd expect of a Volvo. It's smooth. For a diesel, it's quiet. You might hear something rattling around in a minute because I left the locking wheel nut in the passenger holder there, and it's annoyed me ever since I set off, but I haven't got around to taking it out. So yeah, other than that, the car is absolutely, you know, I won't say silent, but very quiet. There's no knocks and bangs at all from the suspension, no noises from the engine bay. It's just, like I say, what you'd expect of a Volvo, smooth. I had one of these with the 2.4 petrol in an automatic box, which was like driving an armchair. It really was. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, it was like driving an armchair. It was really super comfortable, and this is obviously very similar. Obviously the auto box gives you that extra bit of laziness. This is the manual, of course. Gearbox is okay, clutch is okay. We knew this car was pretty well looked after because it only had a cam belt service about 200 miles ago, and the interior, it was immaculate on it, or is immaculate on it, and the exterior was fantastic too. With just really the only thing lets down is a little bit of bubbling on the alloy wheels. 93,000 miles. I say it's great. It's great. It's not quite as punchy as the Alfa Romeo 2-litre Giulietta diesel that I bomb around in, but I think that's down to just the extra weight. This is a 2-litre, not 2.4, so that's probably down to the extra weight, but it's still got a nice thick band of torque in it. It doesn't like to dip much below 1500 revs, but what cars do. And if you do get it bogged down on a hill, being a 6-speed gearbox, you really need to drop it down 2 gears rather than just 1. But we're going to get a bit of a clear run here. I'm in, what am I in at the moment? 4th gear at the moment. Now the only thing I have had come up is a warning, DSTC service required, which does kind of make the car go into limp mode when it comes up. It doesn't have the performance, so I'm assuming it puts it into some kind of safe mode. It doesn't seem to have the performance, so it might just be me thinking it. Yeah, it definitely, because it just come up, it definitely doesn't. It's literally just come up. DSTC service required. Now if I turn the car off and back on again, I get full power again and it drives absolutely perfectly. So I'm not sure what that is. We need to go back and plug it in and have a look at that. The only other thing I've noticed is that the dash lights seem to go bright, and then they go duller, and then they come bright later on. Now, I don't know if that's any relation to auto lights or something like that, or whether it's just there's a fault with it. So we are finding a couple of little niggles with it. But obviously the fundamentals, it drives really well. I am going to have to now pull over and turn it off and back on again to get it to drive properly. I don't know. Like I say, when we get back we'll plug it in and find out. It's got a little symbol of skiddy lines, so presumably it's something to do with the traction control, I guess. TC, traction control. A lot of cars, if there's a traction control fault picked up, it will put it into limp mode. So we'll have to find out what that is. Frustrating. Hopefully it's something simple. Hopefully it's just a duff sensor. If it's a duff sensor, plug it in, you know, swap it out, and we should be away again. The only other thing is crack in the windscreen, which we spoke about before. I need to get my glass guy to come and do that. Now I did put the car up for sale on Saturday. Sorry, tell a lie. I photographed it on Saturday, put it up for sale on Sunday night on Facebook only. I haven't put it on any of the other platforms yet, and it immediately got messages. The only worrying thing is that one of the messages was from a guy wanting to part exchange a BMW 1 Series diesel in one of 2010. So that immediately makes you wonder a couple of things. One, what's wrong with it? Two, what is he expecting part exchange? Is he thinking this is going to be like a, I'm going to have to put next to nothing down on top job? Let's pull over, turn the car off, turn it back on again, and then we can have a proper drive. So we pulled over, turned it off and back on again, and immediately we've got full power again. We've got the diesel punch back. Like I say, it's got a really nice pull. It's all between sort of 1500 and 2.5. Get up into 6th gear quite easy. I imagine on the motorways, which is just a bit neat designed for, no doubt, and dual carriageways, up into that 6th gear, you're going to be doing some really good MPG in it, because it's right down to 1500 RPM at like 60 mile an hour. So I imagine it's going to be doing very good fuel economy. It's a really nice place to be. It just feels like these Volvos do. Like I say, a big armchair, waft along. You have no real desire to throw it around the place and hoon about, although I'm sure it will do those things. It's just a really, really nice place to be. So what do we need to do to it? Like I say, get the screen done. We need to then plug it in, find out what that traction control thing is, and get that swapped out. It doesn't have a rear load cover, I noticed, and I noticed it hasn't got floor mats. Now I am 99% sure that the type of owner that's had this vehicle would have had Volvo floor mats and would have had the rear load cover. They're very popular items to sell on eBay, so I'm going to leave you guys with your thoughts on that. This has come from a salvage yard. I haven't got any of the blowers on. It's come from a salvage yard, so I'll allow you guys to work out for yourself what I think may well have happened there, but obviously I can't say categorically that's the case. So I'll look into how much those are going to cost, but I'll hold fire 1 second. Like I say, as well as the BMW guy, there was another chap messaging asking to see if he'd come in this week. BMW guy wanted to put a deposit down on last night, Sunday night. I said, well, let's hang fire. Let's make sure we aren't a million miles apart on your part exchange price. I also parked the Fiat 500C, the convertible. That immediately got messages as well. So the Fiat 500C I put up for 5,995, which is £250 below Auto Trader recommended. I put this up for 4,995, which, as we discussed before, is around about 20%, 25% off normal retail. Like I say, and I haven't had cars get messages quite as quickly as that in a while, so it's quite interesting. The little Ford Fiesta with the dinged up rear quarter that I wasn't going to do, and I was going to sell off cheaply, I just swapped the seat out in it, gave it a clean, sent it down to Moores. It got the re-MOT to get rid of some of the advisories. That sold at the weekend. Mammoth sales process, took absolutely forever. I don't blame people for checking things out, but you know, they did spend, we were about 3 hours on that sale, I think, all in, by the time they'd gone through it, underneath it, through every button, knob, bit of body work, plugged it in to see if there's any codes, let it sit and run for a long while to check there wasn't overheating, then take it for a long test drive, then come back, look over it again, negotiate the price. They wanted me to knock £400 off the price on a £2,795 car. I have to admit, one of the first times I've actually laughed at someone and said, sorry mate, what margin do you think us dealers work on? In the end we did agree 2,600 because it did need, there was no cam belt history, and I agree it needed a cam belt. I really was going to do one before it went out, and I'd had to have hiked the price up a bit or stuck to my guns at that price, 2,795. So I gave them a discount to go and get the cam belt done, and I still made about £500 out of that, I think, so not bad for something that didn't require any real time at all, and proves yet again that in this area cars will sell with the damage on them. People would rather have a cheaper price, so that's gone out the door. So yeah, we're moving things along. I've got a lot of cars to prep today. I need to get the Honda CR-V prepped because that's got its new MOT in it. I need to get the Proceed prepped and photographed, so both the Honda and the Proceed need to be photographed and put up for sale. We've also got the Fiat 500 that's now back from Moores with MOT that needs the seats wet cleaning. The other Fiat 500, this is the Lounge 1.2, needs its seats wet cleaning, that needs to be photographed and put up. So very busy day today, and I've got to leave early for a parents' evening thing, so we'll be cracking on big time. So we're in the Volvo, we've got our trusty top done on the go, the 800 BT. Check what's going on with this. Let's do a health report. Sorry for the camera quality, I've had to jump onto the phone because there's a problem with the GoPro at the moment. So we're finding some issues coming up straight away. Some of these are probably from it just sitting around. There might be some historical ones. We're looking for ones relating to the it says power seat, but the power seat works fine. Diesel engine, fuel combined. We've got quite a few ABS. Do you know what? I think a lot of this is just going to need clearing. Yeah, there's a lot here. I think it's just going to need clearing first and then driving again, because I think this did get very low on the battery, and at one point it took quite a long time to start. So my tip is always clear codes and run again if you've had a low battery, because as a general rule that's what it is. If you've got loads, that's what it normally is. Right, so it's cleared all of those. Let's go back and do another health scan. It's probably just going to say everything's fine, isn't it? I need to drive it again a bit. It's got to go out for a test drive later today, so I'll find out. That one's come back in. Passenger door module's come back again. Door module. All the central locking seems to work fine, so I don't know what that's all about. But again, you know, we're not going to fix everything on a car of this age. If it isn't non-essential to it driving well, then we aren't going to worry about it. Right, so driver door module, electrical module. These must all relate to each other, I would have thought. What's it saying is the problem? ECU dyno part number. Okay, that's nothing of any use to me. Read fault code. P for permanent malfunction, I for intermittent malfunction. Okay. Our headlamp washer relay. Right, it's open. That's because the washers are right. Okay, we know what that is. That's because the washers aren't connected, because when they sent me that wiring loom, they cut off the one that goes to the flipping washer, the motor on the washer bottle. So I've got to get a new washer motor now with a tail on it, so I can connect them together. So okay, we know what that is then. That's fine. So does the other one relate to that as well then? No, don't end. Yes, okay. So let's enter this one, see what this one says. Okay, read default code. Okay, left front window general failure information, left rear window general. Okay, so look at that. Well, they seem to be working fine, so I don't know what your problem is there, car. Okay, let's come out of that. Let's ignore that. And then the last one, this one here, door module. What's it saying is wrong with that? Read fault code. Okay. Same one. So all those relate to the windows. So all we've got is codes for the windows and for the washer. Now we know the windows are working fine. We know what the problem is with the headlamp washers. So okay, that's fine then. Yes. Right. Okay. Well, we need to take it for a drive now and see if the code for the I shouldn't have cleared it, did I? I didn't clear the code for the ABS. I should have looked at that one first. Never mind. Let's take it for a spin and see if the code comes back again. The thing we need to do as normal is re-clean the car. I spend my life re-cleaning cars. Now we've taken it for a good test drive, it needs another clean. But good looking car, isn't it? Really is in this colour. Really good looking car. I say there's the crack. Saying to have to replace the screen for it's not an MOT failure, but I can't see me buying it with a screen like that unless they want a big discount. So let's get on, clean that, and then we've just got to say got a day of cleaning. We're going to clean the CRV over there as well, and we've got the Pro Seed inside needs cleaning. BCA trucks here. I can see the Clio, and I think I can see the Corsa automatic. We've got loads needs cleaning. Actually, got the Proceed needs cleaning and putting up for sale. The S needs cleaning. That could start to be marketed before it goes down and gets timing chain done, I guess, or at least I can have the photos ready. The Mercedes needs a clean, and that needs to be photographed up for sale, and I need to get the water pump done on it. So we've got a lineup down this side that's clean. The Fiat 500 looking really good. I say messages on that already. MGB's back in after it run around at the weekend, and no interest in the Viva again still, but I did pull it down off of Auto Trader. I'm going to wait a little while before I put it back up again. But it looks like we'll be selling that well under book. Luckily there isn't anything really needs doing to it after we did that little scrape on the rear bumper. It's in really good nick. But it's already 6,995, it's already under book by about 300. So may end up being a 6,495 car. Someone will grab a real bargain on that. 30,000 miles, 2017. And it's a top spec one. Anyway, no further putting it off. Time to get these hands dirty and get those cars cleaned. Right guys, the Volvo's all cleaned up, ready for its test drive with that chap if he comes along. Well guys, Volvo sold. First person came to view it has bought it. So advertised it Sunday night, Monday morning it's sold. Full asking price based on me changing the windscreen and putting a new MOT in it. I said, in my standard thing, I've put a set amount of money aside for it to get through MOT. If it doesn't end up needing that, I'll give you a little bit of a discount. But if I aren't able to do that, you know the money's gone into the car. So you're golden. Lovely, lovely chap, also called James, of course. Came by to see it. That's the chap who had the BMW that was looking at part exchanging it, but decided not to in the end. Had a mechanic with him, went over the car in detail. I let him know that the headlight washers aren't currently working. We'll have to see if that goes through. I don't know if these are Xenons or not. If they are, we will have to find the motor and the pigtail on it to get that sorted for him. But if it goes through, we won't need to do that. It's fine. The cover for the rear, the load cover, is actually underneath the boot floor there. So I feel a bit bad saying it was nicked. And then the only code that I said that we had was for the window. I told him we had the code for the ABS sensor, but he went out for a long drive. I told him to look out for it and it didn't come up. So we'll have to test again and see if that comes up. So I got the Volvo straight down to Moores after the sale to speed things through. And I'm pleased to say it passed. My first straight pass, no advisories. I asked Phil about the headlights. He said because they weren't high output Xenons, they didn't have to pass with the washers on, but I've still put a message out to Volvo Breakers to see if I can get the part. It'd be nice to fit it before sale if I can, but I might not have time. So that was probably, that is got to be, without a shadow of a doubt, the fastest sale I've had on a car. I think the Kia Soul might be a close second, but this literally was up for what? I think it was up for about 20 minutes before I got the message from the gentleman that bought it, and he immediately wanted to put a deposit down. So keep on the lookout for nice looking Volvo estates, I guess is the message there, isn't it? So yeah, and I hadn't looked at the previous MOT history as in a greater detail as the customer that's bought the car. He'd gone through all of them and he showed me, and basically they were all advisory free. I think there'd been some suspension work in the last couple of years, but pretty much it'd gone through, it's sailed through all its MOTs. We found the load cover underneath the bed in its plastic, in its original plastic bag, which I think I noted when I first got the car, but I must have forgotten since, along with the emergency triangle, the toolkits, everything's there as new. The thing is just absolutely mint, it really is. Before it goes out the door, I will do an oil and filter, because although we know the cam belt was changed, we don't know they did oil and filter at the same time, so I will do oil and filter on that. The windscreen is the kicker. Although I got away without anything on the MOT, the windscreen's quite an expensive one. It's going to cost £250 for the windscreen plus the VAT. So I've taken a little bit of a hit there, but it'll still be decent margin